This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
Where we want to educate you about our market, empower you to make wise decisions, and help you engage with our expert contributors.
Let me start off with our weekly update. I'm going to give you some stats first, guys, so that you can get caught up on what's happening in our market. As of today, again, this is just single-family homes. We have 5,094 currently available. That's down 11 from last week. Pretty low inventory still. In the last 7 days, we put 865 in escrow. We closed 621 homes. 159 were withdrawn. The median price of the sold homes was $335. That's down a lot from last week. But again, when you're only doing a week's worth of data, it's not as significant to me. But it went down to $335 from $349. That's a big drop. But the interesting thing is that the sold price per square foot went up. That went up almost $4. So what does that mean? So that means that we saw a lesser number of high-end homes in this mix. So this was more of what I would call the blue-collar level homes, where we do a lot of our business in the threes, 2 3s, 4s. A lot more of that mix was there. So the sold price per square foot went up, but the median price went down. The median days on market went down also. It went down to 31. Again, tight inventory right now. Danielle, nothing really different from last week, though, right? I mean, it's pretty much the same.
I don't think so. Remained pretty much the same.
Yeah, nothing striking here. We're not seeing a trend going in any direction other than what we've seen for the last several months, truthfully. There's another article I want to share, and this relates to the governor's eviction moratorium. He did not extend it. Today is the last day today it's lifted. Yesterday was the last day. And so the state protection is gone. But there is still federal protection. So the CDC put out rules, and basically their rules are a little bit different, though. They want the tenant to declare a need for help, not just automatically get it. So the tenant has to complete a disclosure. And in that disclosure, it's called a CDC declaration form. And in that disclosure, they have to basically say, yes, they are experiencing a financial hardship as a result of the COVID crisis. And so if there's a tenant out there who's been taking advantage of the system, they're going to find out that they can no longer do that. And so they need to work things out with their landlord, or they can be evicted now. It's a different policy. It's not the state's policy. It's now a federal policy that's going to rule our valley. And so I want to let tenants and landlords know that the rules are changing. I'm going to encourage everyone to work together. I'm going to encourage those tenants, if you're in a better financial situation right now, get yourself squared up with your landlord, or else you may find yourself with an eviction. And an eviction is a terrible, terrible thing. For someone who's renting, if you have an eviction on your record, I'm going to tell you, as somebody who does property management, I'm not interested.
That'd be an automatic no.
That would be an automatic no. Now, if you were evicted during COVID or right after COVID, and you had a really good verifiable story to tell, I probably would want to listen to it. But evictions in general, to me, are just, before COVID, evictions an automatic no. Now I might, we might encourage our landlords to reconsider based on the story that we hear related to it. If there was an eviction that we felt was some way improper, then we might still consider that person. But I'm going to tell you, as a tenant, a lot of landlords just won't. They just won't consider it. And so be careful. And so we're experiencing some of this right now in property management. We're experiencing this with some of our tenants, and we want to make sure they understand the nature of this change is that while the state's moratorium is away, there is a federal one, but the federal one is not one that automatically gives you the ability to stay in a home. You have to actually sign a document, a declaration saying you need the help. And so that makes it just a bit different.
Almost reminds me of when the foreclosures and short sales were happening. And then, when we got through it and people were trying to find another home, mm-hmm. There was not exceptions, but then during those times, it seemed like everyone had lost their home. Similar to this situation, when we're looking back, would the eviction maybe be overlooked because of COVID and because of...
Yeah, I think...
I'm not saying just get evicted and lose your home, but...
No. Yeah, I think that we have to be somewhat understanding of the situation and know that, boy, we want to We don't want people out on the street. Nobody wants that. But we also don't want people to be taking advantage of the system either.
Yeah.
And so you have to be careful. I mean, I think if you're a tenant and you were taking advantage of the system, you're going to have to pay the piper now. It could be ugly for you. And so I'm going to encourage you to work things out with your landlord quickly. Perhaps sign a promissory note or do something immediately so that you don't have to worry about an eviction. And if you're a landlord, I'd tell you to consider it, because eviction is devastating for the tenant, but it's not going to get you your money back either as a landlord necessarily. You might not ever see that money. So I would encourage everyone to try to work it out. Let's talk about something a little more pleasant.
Yay!
What do you think? So first, you got to show, pick up your little your buckets and explain that. Just show it to the camera there.
Okay, so we have two.
Okay.
We have the adult version, and we have the kid version.
You're gonna have to pick them up,
okay.
and you have to pick it up and just hold it. Yeah, hold it up nice and high.
Okay, so here's the adult version.
There you go.
And so in our community, last year we got the "You've Been Booed," and this
Right
year
here.
we got. Oh, am I still not doing?
No,
that?
you're doing fine.
Okay.
I'll hold this one.
So there was better goodies in here, but my 6-year-old got to it this morning in the car, so there was a lot better. So this is "You've Been Booed," and so the tradition is there's a bunch of fun stuff in here for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And what you have to do is you have to post this in your window, and then you have to essentially pass on the tradition. So within 2 days, you have to do 2 buckets to a house that hasn't been booed,
Okay.
and the directions are in there. And then we got an adult one this year.
Ooh, this is the one that I'm excited
This is
about.
the fun one.
Here.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay. And it's "You've Been Boozed." Look how cute.
That is cute.
And again, the instructions on what to do. But we got 2 bottles of wine, and one says trick, and the other says treat. And then there's little goodies for the adults, candles, some candy. And so tonight we are going to deliver some buckets to a couple of houses in our neighborhood.
Okay, and again, what they do is once you've been boozed or booed, you leave the note up on your door so no one will do it to you again. And then you're doing, once it's been done to you, then you're obligated to do it to somebody else.
Yes, within 3 days.
Within 3 days. Okay.
I think it's within 3 days.
Well, that's clever.
It's cute, right?
I like that. The other thing that happens this time of year is that you go to like maybe a pumpkin patch, and there's a couple of really great places in town you can go. And I know you wanted to talk about them.
Yeah, so Gilchrist Orchard and then the Las Vegas Farm, and they both happen to be, one's on the northwest corner of Tenaya and Grand Teton,
Right.
and then the other's on the southeast corner
Of the same intersection.
in the same intersection.
Okay. I always thought it was one, but you were explaining to me earlier it's 2 separate places. And I know we took the kids there when they were kids, a long time ago.
Yeah. But they have but Gilchrist has more than pumpkins. It's like you can bring your cart and you could pick pumpkins from the pumpkin patch or whatever's in season. So I think right now it might be squash and
Are there apples and pears?
apples and pears because they have the best pear and apple cider
Right?
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have apple cider donuts. I was just reading on their website.
Apple cider donuts. An apple cider is, that's fun for us. I mean, because you get a little buzz from cider, can't you, Carl? No?
No, that's kombucha. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's your fancy beer you had for lunch. Okay. All right, but you can pick your own fruit. Can't you pick your own fruit there?
You can. It's
okay.
separated into sections, and it's open Tuesday, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays from 7 to 2. Still have to abide by COVID restrictions, but they have a bunch of stuff: pumpkin, cucumbers, apple cider donuts, frosting, caramel apples, peanut
caramel
butter,
apples.
kettle corn. They have yummy stuff.
Please join us again next week as we keep you up to date on everything real estate here in Southern Nevada. Remember, send me any questions or ideas for next week's broadcast. Tune in every Thursday at 3. Also, please let your friends and family know to like our Facebook page and be reminded about our updates at LV Real Estate Radio. We'll catch you next week. Thanks again for joining us.